used to have a podcast. It's not up anymore. I removed it down because it's an old brand. But basically, my goal with that was to get clients. So I brought guests on to the podcast, didn't charge them anything, who I was hoping to have them be my client because I could get top CEOs of a company who would never have given me time of day if I called them and said, "Can I get a meeting with you?" But I basically said, come, I'll invite you to my podcast. So they show up and they're in my office. Next thing you know, we're talking an hour afterwards, and then they hire me. So that was my main reason for the podcast. Right. Yeah, I got some listeners and such, but it wasn't monetization. I'm about to start a new podcast starting in a month, which is with my co-host, Shaq, Shaquille Cozart. He is.
Man. Hey,
I'm gonna say O'Neal.
Weird place to call.
I wish. No,
so
Shaquille and I have started one, and this one's more because, like, for example, so he's in marketing. I'm also in marketing. I was the VP for DEI for the American Marketing Association of Iowa, and he is he's Black. I'm white. He has a different perspective. I have a different perspective, and we hate polarization. So the whole point is to get a collective perspective. So we get guests coming from talking about the same topic from a very different spectrum of worldviews and perspectives and ideologies and social backgrounds and ethnicities and cultures and all the things. Because why? So much public perception and public opinion, it comes from one angle. It comes from this one angle, and that's all people get, and they're brainwashed and told this one thing. We don't get to hear the voice of any of other people. And so we're going to talk about a lot of topics that maybe people don't want to talk about, but need to be talked about. And it's going to be talked about not from this top-down perspective. When we talk about and so again, why am I doing that podcast? And why is Shaq doing the podcast? Because that one's a belief system. It's something we believe is important. We believe in the voice of all people being heard.